3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year, everyone! From Jabronis United.
Dang, why are you stepping on my stuff? New Year and you're already messing. Why? Why, mother? Why? Ooh.
You gotta be quicker than that. You gotta be quicker than
for
that.
it. Great start. This is Jabronis United. I am your host, the real deal, Ryan Regan. With me is Davion Bussy, which are we
I don't have my
sticking with
name.
your name?
Yes, I'm sticking with my real name.
All right, fine. But yes, we all here. Thank you for joining us. Hope you all had a wonderful, happy New Year. Whether you drank, whether you ate, whether you did some things that you forgot, all power to you. Because it's a brand new year, it's a brand new start, it's a brand new way of doing things. And we will be getting into some of the new things that we are going to be doing in regards to, say, our predictions, especially when it comes to pay-per-views. We will be getting into AEW's World End and our reactions to whether or not we were right or wrong on some of those. And we will be talking about the first new pay-per-view that we will do predictions on of January, which is going to be TNA Hard to Kill. Yes, we will be doing TNA ones out of respect of them going ahead with the rebrand. They've certainly done what they can to show up. So we'll see if we can plug that in along with the AEWs and the WWEs. But speaking of WWE, we have to get down to our main topics for tonight, which is we already saw the reveal of one devil over the weekend in AEW, and I would say this past Monday, we got the presence of another devil, of much more calculating, a much more damaging devil to the world of WWE.
Pause.
Dwayne.
Pause.
No.
Pause.
Why pause?
Why would you call him the devil of WWE?
I'm glad you asked. Now, first of all, yes, let's get into the whole brass tacks of it. Rock showed up, pretty much ran down Jinder Mahal, which, good for Jinder Mahal to come back to. I've never really had a problem with him, but Lord knows a lot of people did, especially with his title run.
Yeah.
And yes, he was doing the whole foreigner hating on America shtick. But then again, Rock came out and did his shtick, with pretty much just humiliating Jinder. It's like, I feel bad that he comes back out and he gets like the Austin Theory treatment. It's like, man didn't do anything yet to deserve that. But the worst thing is that after Rock went ahead and beat him up and got the audience all riled up with the same old, which, mind you, he looked gassed even after hitting Jinder with that belt. So I don't know what kind of shape that is, but it's not a good shape. He went ahead and made his little inference to wanting to be at the head of the table, i.e. wanting to take on Roman Reigns and really just finalize this whole bloodline thing.
Okay.
Now, the problem here is you don't get The Rock just for one match on an upcoming pay-per-view. You could say, okay, they'll set up the match for the Rumble because that's the next best thing that's coming up. Okay, sure. But you're not going to have The Rock just for the Rumble.
No.
And more than likely, if they do Elimination Chamber, I don't know if it's going to be necessarily for the belt. It might be for number one contendership.
If I may.
Go ahead.
Rock is always number one contender in everybody's books because he has that veteran standard. So, to be honest with you.
Don't get me on veteran statuses.
Yes, veteran status. That's the golden rule of WWE. You have veteran status. So, if you want to call your shot at any type of belt, now is the time. But it's not going to be at WrestleMania. I really believe it's going to be at Elimination Chamber.
Okay, here's the problem with that.
Go ahead.
Veteran status should not mean a goddamn thing in today's world of wrestling.
Eh, eh. Not when it comes to money. When The Rock is a draw, no matter how far he goes, draw.
I would dare say different because here's the thing.
Go ahead.
If they really had like no plans whatsoever, especially considering they have 2 titles that they have to worry about. They have Rollins and they have Reigns. You could easily say that Rollins will be handled easily, depending on how the Rumble pans out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to tell me that they aren't going to try to strive for Rock versus Roman, which is what they were originally planning at WrestleMania last year, if they're not going to try to do it again for Philadelphia, when we're still waiting for Cody to finish his damn story.
So that was the whole suggestion of that aspect. So it will be a draw to see the bloodline go at. Now, here's the other scenario. And this is just no, let me finish. Let me
add on this.
Okay. Here. Yes, but let me finish. I will say, audience, and some of y'all some of y'all may agree. Let's say Rock says he want to wait until WrestleMania, but Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble. So now you have yourself a triple threat match between The Rock, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns, which would be an awesome scenario if you really think. Because either way, everybody wins. And when I say everybody wins, The Rock is a draw, and he can elevate those 2 to stardom. And then not only that, it will basically put Cody Rhodes. Let's say Cody wins. Cody's level of popularity will skyrocket depending on who he pins. Matter of fact, not even so. Because if he pins Roman Reigns, matter of fact, yeah, it will skyrocket. Because if he pins Roman Reigns, he's WWE champion and his market goes up. If he pins The Rock and wins the WWE title, his rocket goes up even further.
You're assuming a little bit too much when it comes to triple threat matches.
No, I'm not. And anybody that agree with me, please comment below.
No.
Yes. Yeah.
Because here's the thing. It's more than just Cody. All right. I have Cody up here because he is the first one people think about. But it is also Drew McIntyre. It is also Rollins and CM Punk. It is also this setup. You've got Randy who came back. You've got Jey Uso who's in the picture. You got goddamn LA Knight. You have so many guys that could easily be vying for the top spot. You've got so many guys that could easily be put in play for a WrestleMania match against any champion in that status. That the addition of The Rock really does muddy up the waters.
Well, you have to look at it.
Too much. It's almost an embarrassment of riches in some people's eyes. But in mine, it's like
clusterfuck.
It's going too far.
A clusterfuck.
Okay.
Like you have all that stardom. You have Cody that's trying to do his redemption story. Then you got Drew McIntyre, who is very adamant of the fact that he's not getting the shine that he deserves. Then you got
he's had his shots and he's failed every time, so he's just going to get angrier and angrier.
But then you got Seth Rollins that needs to sit down. Then you got CM Punk.
Well, I feel like CM Punk is going to be handling Rollins at least all the way through.
So you could take CM Punk out. You could take CM Punk and Rollins out.
Right, but by doing that, you're also taking Rollins out. You're taking one half of the championships that can headline WrestleMania.
Yeah, but this is just an if scenario. But we know where they're going with Elimination Chamber, or we may go to Royal Rumble against The Rock versus Roman Reigns.
Which, may I remind you what happened the last time The Rock and Roman Reigns shared the ring in Philadelphia?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, everyone just throwing everything at them.
Oh yeah, that's
It
right.
was a mess. You can't do that to that Philly audience. They will voice their opinions.
But in this time, everybody likes the way Roman Reigns is drawing heat, so you can't bring back the past. The past is in the past. The present is now. In the future, we just have to watch the next episode for what happens in the future. But at this moment, we can't focus on the past because the past is what the past is. And then you got the present, which is Roman Reigns against The Rock. Even though past issues, but those past issues are no longer there because Roman is a likable heel.
Is he though?
Yeah.
I would debate that. I would debate a likable heel part. Because here's the thing. Just based off what we know, breaking kayfabe for a second, we understand that Rollins is, he has his beef with Punk, and he'll probably be working with that. Roman will be taking time off sooner or later because, physical health and everything.
Yeah.
So it's more than likely he will drop the belt at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he has to do it.
You want to drop it to The Rock?
No, you dropped it with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
So then what do you do with The Rock?
The Rock
is going to be at WrestleMania.
Like, you can put him as Royal Rumble. Like I told you, Royal Rumble, maybe Elimination Chamber, but more like the Royal Rumble.
Okay, and then what do we do about people like, say, LA Knight or Randy Orton who are on SmackDown? You're going to give them the U.S. Championship instead?
I say yeah.
Same thing that just today we saw that Logan Paul pretty much bartered the U.S. title with apparently a pack of prime drinks to Patrick Mahomes for a Super Bowl ring.
Well, show
really trading it like it's his damn Pokemon card.
So can we show those pictures?
Anyone's going to care about who beats Logan Paul at this point for that belt? No one.
No. I could basically win the belt and not get more popularity off of Logan Paul than.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you did it, would be much like Santino Marella. There's nobody. It comes out of nowhere,
Be like,
you'd be the New York Miracle, basically.
Yeah. I'll be like the guy that'd be like, yo, I don't like Logan Paul. I got the athletic abilities. Logan Paul sucks. Even though his wrestling skills are good.
Yes, Logan Paul is athletically sound.
Yeah. But when it comes down to it, I can still kick Logan Paul's behind.
Right. But the thing is, whoever faces him, it's not going to be a great WrestleMania moment, even if they do take the belt off of him at this point, because they're treating the belt like a joke. Man hasn't even defended it once since he got it.
Right. So
then if you go on the other end of the spectrum, okay, if you're taking Rollins out of the way, you've still got people like Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes and all of them that if they stay with Raw and they don't go over and do anything with anyone on SmackDown, all you really have is Gunther. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I want Gunther to lose the belt at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he should lose the belt because yes.
I'm seeing Imperium breaking up before you lose that belt.
No. Let Gunther lose the belt and let him be into the world title or WWE title hunt and put the WWE title on him because now
I would think close to the SummerSlam. Let him have that real time to shine. If Imperium needs to get their act together, that's for sure. Like, Lord knows already one of them is injured, and Ludwig Kaiser is basically a villain from an MCU movie. You go ahead and just like Gunther be Gunther. He doesn't necessarily need Imperium anymore. As for who should beat him, at this point, it's really anyone's guess.
Because who do we want to beat him? Like Drew failed, Sheamus failed. The only person,
You got a few people that are out on injury that aren't back yet, like Strowman or Sheamus, who could probably go ahead and take them.
Now, the only person I could say that probably got a chance in doing it is Jey Uso.
Okay, fine. We take Jey Uso. We put him in the Intercontinental hunt. Maybe something happens with the bloodline where him and Jimmy patch things up and they face Imperium. It's sort of going back together like that. But
Nah, just let them go their separate ways. No.
I'm just spitballing here. But okay, so you take Jay out of the picture. What are you doing with Cody and Shinsuke Nakamura at this moment? Because that's certainly not going to last past Royal Rumble. So if Cody does go over, then what do you do with Shinsuke? And even then, that's including Sammy or Kevin Owens.
Okay,
you see,
so
no matter what you try to decide about one championship or the other, no matter how you plan out this WrestleMania, there is going to be at least too many options per match. And The Rock inserting himself where it's almost like a Cody Rhodes, CM Punk sort of scenario where they have come over and they have certain stipulations on their contract. There are certain things that are unavoidable because they are involved. So by interjecting themselves, they have made it more of a mess.
Because it's going to be. Hold on. Oh, right.
Hold on, we got something from Kyle. Hi, Kyle.
Hey, Kyle. I do not like how they are feeding The Rock to be another LOL Reigns wins. They should have brought him in after he lost the title. Which is true. I do agree. I do agree.
That gives Rock all the more reason in the world to be like, hey, you're no longer head of the table because you couldn't hold on to the belt anymore.
That makes more sense. I do agree with you, Kyle. But
very clever, Kyle.
But at the same token, how do we clean up a mess that they did already? And I say for WrestleMania, make it a triple threat match between Roman Reigns, The Rock, and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes wins, get his redemption story, pins Roman Reigns, not The Rock, pins Roman Reigns. And then after the match, you have it in a way where the bloodline comes out. The Rock, they look like they about to beat up The Rock, but they turned their attention to Roman and they start attacking Roman.
At this point, there's so much infighting that I don't even care about the bloodline anymore. If anything, I care more about the infighting in the Judgment Day than I care about in the bloodline because at least the Judgment Day is making it funny.
Right, that is true.
Bloodline hasn't been entertaining with its infighting since Jey Uso left to go join Sammy.
And they shouldn't have never got rid of Sammy.
Oh, they definitely shouldn't have gotten rid of. Not that quickly. Not after accepting him.
Right. I do agree.
But come see, come saw. That's what it is.
Yeah, because Sammy was that anchor that brought some
Sammy's bloodline is pretty much what R-Truth in the Judgment Day is now.
Right.
So right now, Judgment Day is at least hitting its stride. But still, it's like cut and paste, carbon copy. Oh, we have these many people that work together. Let's see their differences, react to one another. It's like, come on, guys.
Facts.
All I know is, and that brings in like the whole other dark horse. When are they going to finally use the goddamn Money in the Bank contract?
I say the perfect time would be WrestleMania.
Right, but at this point, do you use it and let them fail again?
That's
it's already been like a series of fails for the last few people that have had that contract.
I think it wouldn't be a fail if they used it at WrestleMania. I think they should let them win it based on the fact that Damian Priest need that boost. And once that boost kicks in, I think that'd be the perfect time to boost this. And then we may have the Damian Priest versus CM Punk.
And then what do you do with someone like Randy?
Randy is on the pursuit of what? The WWE title. So if Cody wins, that will be an interesting match between Cody and Randy. Because now Randy, LA Knight,
so many people. It's like
will be on the hunt.
At this point, this kind of a hunt, I'm not even concerned about what they win at. I'm just going to be more satisfied on whether or not the matches are going to be any good because I feel like they're just going to slap people together.
No,
this literally could end up being like a Vince McMahon WrestleMania where it's like, forget the build, just put them together. So this way we fill up both nights. And I hate that because we've already seen what happens when you slap the people together without any proper build-up. We've been seeing that over in AEW for like the last few months.
Right. Unless here's the other counter. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins don't happen at WrestleMania. It will be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins at Royal Rumble. And let's say...
Well, no. They've already said Punk is going into the Rumble to potentially win the opportunity to face Rollins. So they're not going to put that match on Rumble.
All right, so... And then if he fails that, then I could see him winning the Elimination Chamber or seeing Cody. You know what? It would make more sense for Cody to win the Elimination Chamber and CM Punk win the Royal Rumble.
I could see that. It's branding that they have, or it's like, I hope it's not some of those things where it's like, oh, there's a Raw.
Let me take that back. No, let me take that back. It will make more sense for Cody to win the Royal Rumble and CM Punk wins the Elimination Chamber.
That I could see.
You know why I say that? Because it gives Cody time to decide whether he want to go after Seth or Roman. And most likely Cody's going to save Roman because he want to do that, the end-all, be-all storyline.
But you see how hard it is just to try to rile this thing up? Imagine what they're doing over there where they have everybody on the roster to think about.
Mm-hmm.
They have done themselves no favors by bringing in someone of Rock's caliber. That is why I am saying he is a devil in his own right. Because we know why Rock is doing this stuff.
Right. But the thing about it is, here's the other kicker. I would like for The Rock to face Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. It will make more sense. It will clean up what happened in last year, like the past Royal Rumble, even though it's not that serious to me, because Roman Reigns' steam is really better than what it was back then. But it's a match we don't need at WrestleMania, but it is a purpose at the Royal Rumble. Rock versus Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Rock loses, yeah, but I will rather the Rock. Huh?
I hope people get injured.
No, I really see the Rock losing, but by technicality, by interference, by Solo Sikoa. I really see that happening. Oh, wait.
What? What'd you think of?
WrestleMania, The Rock versus Solo Sikoa.
Why?
You basically interfered in the match between me and Roman. Now I got beef with you.
Okay, but here's the thing. You don't put The Rock up against Solo Sikoa at WrestleMania. That's something you would do at Elimination Chamber to buy time.
Yeah, but think about it, because remember what Roman said. He passed the torch to Sikoa to be the next head of the table.
Dude, practically everyone's had a chance at the head of the table.
No.
The only one that hasn't is Heyman.
Huh?
The only one that hasn't had a chance is Heyman at the head of the table. Jay had his eyes on head of the table. Jimmy had his eyes on head of the table. Solo's been semi-inducted as the next head of the table.
Yeah, but remember, it serves a purpose when Roman Reigns says it.
And at this point, the whole head of the table bullshit is bullshit.
No, I agree with you.
There's no hierarchy anymore because there's barely any bloodline left.
But I agree with you. But at the same time, think about it. Like, you know that he's the enforcer. You know Paul Heyman is going to have his hands in this one, in this match. Of course, he's going to tell the enforcer, yo, I think you should go down in the ring and make sure your brother or your fellow tribal chief wins the match. So you know there's going to be some type of riffraff into that. So I do see Roman Reigns winning against The Rock, but on a technicality where someone interferes. And that's Sikoa. And I do see
at this point, unless you actually bring in Rikishi to go up against his own family and redub the line, I did it for The Rock. I don't see the bloodline anymore.
Well, here's the other kicker. He did sign a contract, and he is working with WWE regards to that now.
I know, but that's my point, though. The only way you can reinvigorate anything into the bloodline storyline isn't with The Rock, who, if he wins, becomes head of the table and then ditches out after a couple of months. You got to do it with humor.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get Usi with it like they used to. I miss Usi. Usi was some shit, man.
Yo, you trying to make me break kayfabe, aren't you?
Well, I'm just saying, Uzi was good, man. Uzi was that thing. Uzi was him. All right.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. That came out of nowhere when I heard that from Sammy. That just came out of nowhere. He's just
it was good, man. It was good.
It was like, what?
Now you don't hear Uzi anymore.
Yes, you do.
Nobody use Uzi. Jimmy don't use Uzi. Solo don't use Uzi. Jay's more on Yeet than Uzi.
But he uses it once in a while.
Very rarely.
Feeling kind of
Uzi ain't what it used to be, man. Uzi was here, but now Uzi's here.
Feeling kind of Uzi.
Uzi ain't juicy, man. Uzi got Lucy. I've broken him. I have. I know this.
Blame it on a go. Blame it on.
No. But yeah, so if anybody has any thoughts on how they want Rock to be utilized, definitely go ahead, put it in the comments. We'll definitely be checking out how the road to WrestleMania goes for everybody, not just The Rock, but for Cody and everyone involved.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right this. If Cody doesn't be able to finish any part of the story by the end of this WrestleMania, he might as well just go back to AEW.
Facts.
Which they may need him to do at some point. I don't know, because the way AEW is going is also of some concern.
Facts.
Just going real quick into what we saw over the weekend, which really you should have been with us, man. It was fun times. We watched Worlds End. I watched it over at the AMC theaters with JT, which, by the way, says hi to everybody.
Yeah, and I watched it on my big screen that I'm watching right now, ladies and gentlemen.
But it was one of those things where it was kind of like, how predictable was the pay-per-view?
It was predictable to a certain extent.
Like, I think the only thing that really messed me up was the whole Andrade El Idolo thing, because I really didn't think that the contract was expiring that night.
I ain't gonna say too much about it, but it made more sense that Miro needed that win more than Andrade. But what really bothered me was the Christian versus Adam Copeland.
Oh, that was brilliant. What are you talking about?
That
was
bothered the crap out of me.
That was fantastic, man.
No.
That was a complete 180.
Because mind
you, had we known more about what was going to be going on with the 20-man battle royale, I think we might have been able to make more informed decisions.
Right.
Because we didn't know who was going in on that. I picked Wardlow, which, in the grand scheme of things, for the TNT Championship, he is a former champion. That's why I picked him.
And I picked Jack Perry.
Which, for all I know, he's still on suspension. So I wasn't going to tell you don't do that. But yeah, once I saw who was actually being inducted, like who actually had the entrance go in and who didn't, you had an idea about who they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Kill Switch, Luchasaurus, won, that told me everything I needed to know. The minute that happened, it was a foregone conclusion. But I didn't expect them to actually let Adam win the belt and then a minute later reverse it on him to make Christian Cage a 2-time champion. That's fucking brilliant. All right, I'm sorry. That is so evil, mastermind, super villainy.
That was BS. That was so BS. That was BS. Even though I won that decision, that was BS.
I still loved it. Only because it shows the kind of villainy that guy has for all this. Right? He is a mastermind.
That was BS. BS. And I met Christian before. He's a cool guy, but that was BS.
And I will say, like, who did I like? I liked, Kingston winning both belts.
Yes, that basically was the highlight of everybody. Because you want to know why it made. No. It wasn't just the fact. No. It wasn't the fact that he was king of the bums. He was the everyday man in society. He wasn't that guy where he had great promo skills, yes, but he wasn't that guy that everybody is like, oh, he's the superstar. No, he was just that regular, mouthy, everyday guy, and he won both belts.
He was like the New York Shaggy, all right? That's what he is.
Huh?
You and I, we've seen guys like him up in the city all the time.
Yeah.
Whether they're driving taxis or they're shoveling around garbage or they're a bouncer at a nightclub or whatever. We see these guys all the time, people like Eddie Kingston, people that, if they just got the opportunity, they could put in work.
Right.
And Kingston is the epitome of that. And I am so happy that he is now more cross-branded than since Kenny Omega, when he was doing the sweeper gimmick, the cleaner.
That was a great thing.
So I mean, I'm happy for him. I don't know how long he'll hold on to said belts. He might start to lose them. But for the meantime, boy's got a triple crown on his head. And finally beat Moxley, which you have not seen in AEW at all.
Yeah.
So I am so happy for that. Any other matches that got to you aside from the main event?
I was kind of concerned with Swerve Strickland, how they just last minute made the adjustment, made this a decision to put Cody Rhodes' brother, Dusty. I was a little bit teed off about that one.
Well, wait, what exactly were you teed off about? Were you teed off that they had to make the switch? Because that's simply a matter of Keith Lee not being cleared.
But it was so last minute. Like, I was more teed off about it being last minute.
Right, but I mean, that's what they'll do. I mean, if they really want the match to happen, if Keith himself really wants the match to happen, then they will wait till the last minute to see what the doctors have to say.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I mean, I can't fault the medical for being like, you know what? We waited as long as we could. We checked as many times as we could. We legitimately cannot let you go out there. I'd say that's a good point on AEW.
Right.
Now, mind you, I say this knowing that this is also the same company that has let MJF go out with multiple injuries time after again, to the point that he now needs to rehab himself. I don't know how much of that is storyline and how much of that is true. I do find the irony of it.
Mm-hmm.
My only guess is, considering Keith Lee has had a history with COVID, remember that time he was gone from WWE to the point where he almost died?
Right.
Yeah, I remember Maya Yim saying stuff about that. You know, I imagine that they're treating him with more kid gloves than probably most other people because he is that compromised. It would be the same thing as if Reigns had an issue with his leukemia. You know,
Correct.
there are just certain things that's like, you can't just say, "Oh, we'll wait to let it pass."
No, you're right.
But I'd still say, I mean, the match shouldn't have gone on as long as it did. Like, the minute Dustin had his leg go through a cement block, that should have been it.
Correct.
No, but I guess they had the time set aside, so let Swerve make an impact, you know? But outside of that, I'd say everything else was pretty predictable and stayed the course. Any objections? Okay. Because we do have to get into the heart of the matter here.
Okay, and what's the heart of the matter?
Because now, finally, the Devil storyline
It's
has
over.
been finished.
And it was Adam Cole, baby, all the time.
Well, it was more than just Adam Cole. It was the Kingdom.
It was the Kingdom all the time.
That came
It
into
was
being.
Wardlow all the time.
All right, so you had Mike Taven. You had, Mike Bennett. You had Taven, Matthew Taven. You had Roderick Strong. You have Wardlow. You have all these people who were, in many cases, the most directly connected to MJF over the last year or so.
But I would have to say this was really, really covered up. It was really covered up because you did not expect them or these people to be part of that situation.
Well, no, I mean,
to
to be fair,
a certain degree, you didn't expect it.
Yeah,
you
I
were
mean,
expecting. I would say some people were expecting Dolph Ziggler. Some people were expecting MJF. Some people were expecting.
Perry. Some people expected Jack Perry. Some people expected Britt Baker.
Mm-hmm.
All these connections to all the other people that are surrounding MJF. That, yes, this all did start because Cole wanted to be buddy with MJF.
Oh,
which-
wait. Some people expected me because of New York Comic Con 2022.
Are you serious? No, don't tell me that people expected you
Yeah,
because of Comic-Con.
yeah.
Okay, explain this to me. How did that happen?
Okay, so 2022, when they opened everything up, I was minding my own business. I happened to walk past MJS booth because I'm looking around, observing everything. And I had somebody yelling, and I'm looking like, who's yelling? He's like, yeah, you. Who you looking at? And me and him had exchanged words, like profanity words. Like words that you would have to cover your child's ears. That's how serious it was.
So people legitimately suspected you from that.
Yes. Because they thought I was going to hop over the table and beat his behind.
Did they mistake you for Scorpio Sky or something? Like
I have no idea. They just expected me to beat his behind.
I'll admit, you have some Scorpio Skyness to you. That's really the only person I could think of. But no.
Even the people from AEW thought I was going to attack him.
Well, I'm sure they're used to people going ahead and jump in the ring. Maybe not to the extent the WWE has to, but they have had people jump.
Yeah, but I ain't that stupid. I ain't trying to get kicked out of no convention. And
Or would you?
Not over my VIP pass. You bugging out your mind. I wasn't. Now, if it wasn't for the pass.
Okay, good. You have some sensibility. Okay.
Yeah, but if it wasn't for the pass and we met on the street, I probably would have just beat the living daylights out of him.
All right, just making sure. But so we have these people who have essentially taken out MJF, helped Samoa Joe be your new AEW champion, which I am perfectly fine with.
I'm satisfied with that. That was.
I mean, I'm not surprised that Joe went ahead and made a deal with the devil. Joe would do that. But I think I'm more surprised that they took so long to get to this point. Then now you do have to wonder where does this whole devil gimmick go from here?
Ryan, all I gotta say is, well deserved AEW. You did the right thing. You pulled the trigger and you did the right thing. Something that WWE could never do.
No. I mean, Joe definitely has the charisma and the physical fortitude to still be a champion.
Mm-hmm.
I know he had his injury problems back when he was with WWE, and even some of that has crossed over to AEW. But I think as long as you would have somebody that's like, you can literally put the shoulders of the company, in good hands, Joe can handle that load.
Right.
He was able to do it for TNA back in the day. I have no doubt that he'll be able to do it here.
Facts.
But
and by the way,
while MJF is out on rehab,
Ryan, before we go to that one, Samoa Joe, congratulations on doing Twisted Metal. I really applaud you on that. You did a phenomenal job being Sweet Tooth. Thumbs up to you.
And they are getting a season 2.
Exactly.
So that alone lets us know how long he may have to hold on to the title before he has to go back and film. So not great, but at least it is on one of the more prominent people that you do have in the company. Fine. Whether or not it's going to be someone like Hangman Adam Page or Swerve Strickland or, Cole with his Machiavellian wings getting Roderick Strong to maybe take the title off of him.
No, I really see Swerve Strickland pulling it off.
I see Swerve Strickland getting the belt at some point this year. Yes. Do I see Swerve being the one to beat Samoa Joe? I don't know.
I do. No offense.
You
But I
think
don't know.
Swerve could beat Joe?
Yes, and some weird telepathical going into the future type reasoning. I kind of see it.
Because here's the thing, the only reason I could give you that is the fact that obviously Swerve has Mogul Embassy to back him up.
Mm-hmm.
And in that same turn, we already know that Joe will hire the Devils if necessary or work in some sort of collaborative effort in order to help them. Maybe if it means helping them hold on to the Ring of Honor tag team belts,
Right.
or if it means getting Roderick Strong a title change or something. I'm sure Joe would be agreeable to that.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going to go ahead and do like faction warfare, then by all means, sure, Swerve, get in there now while you still can. There's a lot of time that before we need to see anything major from AEW. They're not going to have another pay per view until March when Revolution comes around.
Mm-hmm.
So the next 2 months is all build up for them.
Right.
And mind you, they have to have some strong build up because not only do you have WWE working on their road to WrestleMania with Royal Rumble, with uh, Elimination Chamber coming from Australia, of all places. But now you also do have a revitalized TNA that is going to be trying to make their headway into the landscape. They may be third tier, but the fact that they're going to be going back to that mentality, I'm sure they're going to have a lot of old fans coming back to the fold. So AEW really needs to do something impactful, pun intended, in these next 2 months.
Right.
Can you do that without MJF, who has been pretty much the guiding force of the franchise ever since they started?
Well, it all depends because of his situation. Because let's talk about contract signings. Because MJF's contract is pretty much up. And we don't know if he re-signed with AEW or he's going to WWE.
I know
Now,
that's what we talked. The bidding war of 2024, as they said.
yeah. And
Well,
now,
that was back when Vince was in control, and I think he was trying to like garner that attention.
right. And now we know that AEW has secured another superstar.
Oh,
Because WWE has lost the bid for this particular star. AEW is going to deal with money.
do we know for certain?
Yes.
But look, as great as it would be to have Mercedes Money, Sasha Banks, however she's going to be naming herself, that does more for the ladies rather than the men's side of things.
But here's the other kicker. Don't AEW needs a shot in the arm for the ladies division?
If this had been months ago, I would say yes.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you do.
So you saying WWE need more of the shot in the arm than AEW?
I would say so, especially considering WWE just lost Charlotte for 9 months. And they still don't know what the hell they're doing with Jade Cargill. But as far as AEW is concerned, I do think that they're at least progressing the women's division in the right direction.
Right.
Timeless Tony Storm being the champion, that's a great headliner. Julia Hart being the youngest champion in the company's history with the TBS belt. Having Sky Blue watching her back, being a part of the House of Black. That alone just sets that TBS title into a dark area where people will have to fight to get through there. We've already seen people like Serena Deeb coming back, Riho came back, Abaddon's getting a shot in the dark, as we saw over the weekend. They're doing a lot more with the women that they have on hand rather than just utilizing the same 5 or 6 of them every single week. So Mercedes Moné will be great being added into that, I think she'll probably head more towards Tony Storm than she would Julia Hart. But just any activity on the roster where you maybe can have like a female rivalry between two people and it not involve the belt, that is where Mercedes Moné is going to be perfect for.
Right.
But is it going to be a shot in the arm? Is it going to be something that's going to be like, hey, women wrestle here too? No, it's icing on the cake. On the men's side, though, by taking away MJF and making Adam Copeland lose the belt in record time for the TNT Championship, I really don't know where the men's roster goes from here. It's very uncertain territory. It's kind of like it must have been like how it felt whenever Hulk Hogan left the WWF to go over to WCW. Like once you lose like your big person, your name brand person, the one that's on all the shows, that goes on all the posters, once they're out of the picture, do you have people to build up to put in that limelight? I want to believe AEW does, but I'm not sure. And mind you, we're not saying this as sour grapes simply because we didn't get invited to do press over at the Prudential Center in New Jersey, which is where Dynamite is being held tonight. We know. We know. We would have liked to have been there. We didn't get the message.
Right.
Going at it. And any of my friends who actually are at the show, if God damn it, if you pin me in anything, I swear to God.
Just accept it, Ryan. Just accept it.
I'm not bitter.
Yes, he is.
I'm not bitter.
Yes, you are.
I'm not bitter.
Yes, you are.
No.
Yes. Because, yeah. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, now we're supposed to see if Kyle can give us who won.
Well, Kyle doesn't seem to be talking much, so I don't know if he's still around at the moment or not.
Right.
Even then, he may not be able to have access to the database. But for those of you in attendance and everything watching right now, and those of you who are planned on layering our predictions, we will have full predictions results from AEW's World's End, along with everything else that we've done up in the meantime. Next week, once Kyle is back on the show.
Right.
Now, looking into the future of WWE and AEW and any other pay-per-view events that may come along the line, I am saying this just not necessarily as an executive decision, but I am putting this out there as an idea that I think that for the foreseeable future, like saying the next pay-per-view event that'll be coming along the line, which is TNA Hard to Kill, which good for them.
Good for you, TNA. Good for you.
It is good for them. Good for them. As you can see, that is going to be January 13th, next Saturday. So next week we will have predictions for the first TNA of 2024 since the last 6 years, really. Actually, has it been 6 years or more? It might be somewhere between 6 and 8. I forget exactly when they started doing Impact. But we will not be doing the predictions here on the show. Instead, we will actually each all individually do our own predictions video and put it out no later than the Friday before or the day before the pay-per-view. Because I think Day and I learned last week when we were trying to do the predictions for World's End. And we had some of the information correct, but so much had changed after the show that we still had to go back to the drawing board and catch up on new matches and changes and whatnot. And it kind of made us look a little uninformed.
Correct.
So to correct that, we are going to be doing these videos for Friday once we have just about every possible bit of information that we can have. And we will put out our own individual predictions then. We'll share it internally, so this way the grid of Kyle's is all set up. But for you all to understand where we're coming from with the matches, where we are seeing all the matches that have been announced, all the changes that have been possibly made. We want to give you that most correct amount of info. So that's how we're going to be doing it next week. Next week, we will have our regular show on Wednesday, but then come Friday, look for additional content on Stream Punk Combat, wherever you can find it, whether it be on the YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, wherever, and look for our predictions videos. And hey, if you want to go ahead and give us your predictions yourself, definitely do that. Send it to us wherever you find us on social media, comment it wherever you want to. Make your own video if you would like. Just make sure you tag us so this way we see it. Otherwise, we don't know what the hell you're talking about. And we will go ahead and throw you into the fold, much like we've done with Jeffrey, who is a fan of ours, and other people who have gone through over the year.
Right.
And mind you, this TNA card is looking pretty good so far. I think I have at least some listing of what we're looking at here. So they've already got like 9 matches, the last I checked. You've got Rich Swann versus Steve Macklin. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers versus Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian. Tommy Dreamer versus Crazy Steve for the TNA Digital Media Championship. You've got the Grizzled Young Veterans are coming to TNA.
Versus you announced.
That is great. They put, because those are guys that will not like hold back. You know, they are guys who are both very out there physically and vocally, especially if you check them on social media. So the fact that they're coming to TNA puts a real shot in the arm of the rebrand. But yeah, so we're going to have them versus tag teams have yet to be announced. I don't know if that's been announced yet or not. It may have been. There's a Knockouts Ultimate X match to determine the number 1 contender of TNA Knockouts World Championship. So instead of just a regular match, Ultimate X, which is definitely one of the things that TNA and Impact have been known for over the years. Good to see people hanging from those wires. Dirty Dango, which some of you may know as Fandango from his WWE days. Versus PCO in a singles match, which PCO just had his birthday. So happy birthday to you, PCO. You've got a 3-way dance with Chris Sabin versus Vikingo versus Kushida for the TNA X Division Championship. So that's going to be ridiculous, especially with Vikingo, because anyone who's if you haven't watched TNA or Impact and seen Chris Sabin lately, or if you weren't a watcher of NXT with Kushida back when he was on there, maybe you've watched Vikingo on AEW. He has put in some great work. So good on him. Trinity or Trinity Fatu or Naomi, whatever you want to call her, versus Jordynne Grace for the TNA Knockouts Championship. And mind you, there has been talk about whether or not Trinity plans on going back to WWE anytime soon. There have been talks, much in the same way Mercedes had talks.
Yeah.
But nothing's been sure about that yet.
Or confirmed.
Exactly. So it's all hearsay at this point. And then you've got Alex Shelley, the champion, versus Moose for the TNA World Championship. That is a pretty stacked card wherever you go.
And it's about darn time.
So the fact that they were going ahead and doing that, I mean, you could already make predictions off this, but we do want to wait and see if anything changes within the next week. Come next week, we will go ahead and we will run down the matches. We'll do it quickly because we don't want to necessarily waste too much time, but we will run the matches down like this. And then come Friday, we will give our predictions. And if you want to give your predictions as well, you can do that. So that's a new thing for the year. So this way we just had a little bit more for the channel to pick up on. Now, one last bit of thing that I want to go ahead and touch on before we close out for the night. You know this man, right?
Yeah.
That is good old JR Jim Ross. Probably the greatest announcer to ever grace WWE. Right. Who now works at AEW. And today is his birthday.
Yeah, birthday!
Happy birthday, Jim Ross. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. I still want some of that JR barbecue sauce.
Now, I say this with all love and admiration.
Yeah.
Go retire, JR. That's it. Just happy birthday. You're old enough. Time to go off into that sunset, Boomer Sooner.
Why would you tell him to go retire?
Because it's not getting any better with JR.
So you think it'll be better with having you there?
Maybe, but I'm not trying to go for that. The thing is, you already have like so many great announcers there on AEW. You've got Excalibur, you've got Nigel McGuinness, who has by far been playing a great shit heel commentator. You've got Taz, who is just I've always loved Taz, even when he was doing WWE.
Yeah, Taz is awesome.
There have been too many things problematic with JR trying to shoot from the cuff and not be able to keep track of information that I think the time needs to come for JR to retire. And I don't think I'm asking too much for that because whether on commentary or as a wrestler, because let's face it, the same thing could be said for Ric Flair, but you know, nothing short of a nuclear disaster is going to take that man down. For JR, I don't necessarily want his legacy to end up being tarnished because of anything that may continue to happen within the next year or two. I think at a certain age, you just get old enough to the point where you don't need to be as active on camera. You know, JR has pretty much worked his entire career in wrestling, whether it be for one brand or another. And I want to see him retire with grace and serenity. Whereas we've already seen people of certain ages, let's say people with leathery skin and platinum blonde hair, whoever they may be, end up disgracing themselves over the years. Times are only going to change, and I want JR to not be pulled into that nonsense. Now, after hearing that, do you think I have a valid point, or do you think I'm just being ageist?
No, you got a valid point because when it's time to put up, like you say, when it's time to put up the booths for the wrestlers, it's time to put up the mic for the commentary.
I'm not saying anything against JR. Some of the greatest times that have ever been shown on wrestling has had his voice in the background.
That is true.
And everyone has just like everyone tries to have like a Vince McMahon accent. There are a lot of people that try to imitate JR because he's just got that voice. But I don't think he's done himself any favors by continuing to work amongst people who are much younger, who are much lesser known than the people he used to associate with. And so that confuses the man. And also, I mean, I'm not saying anything against being PC, but I think at his age, JR has got maybe a little bit more of Jerry the King Lawler in him than he wants to admit.
Right.
So for that, I was saying, JR, put your hat down over your heart, sing a good old country song, and then get up on that horse and ride on out. Hopefully, this will be the year that you say, you know what, I've done enough. But again, I wish you the happiest birthdays and many more years of life, if not work, to come in the future.
Yes, sir. And we salute you
to the man.
We salute you, man.
I can tell Dave is saying that with heart. It's all right. I know he looks tired. He's not tired.
No, I'm not.
He's not tired. He's never tired.
I'm never scared. And MJF, if we ever meet again, I hope next time we meet, it'll be on good terms with a glass of beer. I'm just saying.
Well, with that said, we are done for the night here. I do also want to say we did meet our goal that I had mentioned literally last year of making it up to 300 subscribers. We have hit that goal. Thank you, all of you that have gone ahead and subscribed and has continued to make Stream Punk Combat, as well as just Jabronis United, grow and thrive. We will be continuing to grow as much as we can. Let's say for next month, can we get up to 500
Yes.
by February?
2,000, maybe? 10,000?
Well, okay. You're saying 2,000. I'm saying 500. Let's compromise and meet somewhere in the middle here. 1,000.
Yeah. Let's get to 1,000
Okay.
subscribers.
1,000 as a compromise because apparently Davion's got lofty goals. But yeah, let's say by next month, or at least in the next 2 months, let's get up to 1,000. So this way, we can all be on the road to WrestleMania. We can all see the rebirth of TNA. We can all see AEW trying their best, and that sounds so bad.
If we get up,
you to thrive as a wrestling community without any
right. If we
or
go
anything
up,
on Twitter.
Right. If we get up to 10,000, I will wrestle MJF in a match, not a dark match, a live televised match.
Davion, that's not fair. The man's out for injury. Pick somebody who's not on injury.
All right, I'll wrestle whoever y'all choose. Comment down below for 10,000 subscribers.
Okay, go ahead, clip it, put it on social media. If we can get Stream Punk and Combat, if we can get the channel, the YouTube channel, up to 1,000, Davion will wrestle somebody for you all.
Yeah.
I don't know how he'll do it. I don't know where he'll do it. Probably more likely local. But he'll do it.
I will do
it. He will wrestle a human being for your enjoyment as a way of saying thank you for joining us on this ride.
It has to be 10,000 though.
I'll still stay on the outside as commentary, but yes, keep it to 1,000. But for that said, that has been Davion. I have been the real deal, Ryan O'Regan. This has been Jabronis United. And in the words of Sheiky Baby, like Rock was talking to on Monday, stay humble. You sons of bitch Jabronis.